You're kind, and they hate you for it. Don't dismiss this too quickly. Think back. How many times have you gone out of your way to help someone, only to be met with disdain? How many times have you thought, what did I do wrong, when your kindness was met with coldness, attack, or even betrayal? The truth is, in a world full of narcissism, kindness isn't a virtue. It's a threat. You don't know why. They hate you simply because you're not like them, because you're sincere while they wear a mask, because you dare to be real while they're slowly dying behind a fake shell. And the light of your kindness, it hurts them because it exposes the darkness they are trying to bury. Carl Jung called this the shadow, and those who've never faced their inner darkness will hate you for making them see it. This video isn't here to teach you how to pretend to be cold. It's here to help you understand why your kindness gets attacked and how to keep your kindness without getting hurt. Right after this, I'll show you the dark psychological mechanism working beneath seemingly harmless relationships and how you can be kind but powerful. How to give without being devoured. If you've ever been hurt for being kind, this video will change the way you see the world. Are you ready to face the truth? 1. The hidden shadow. How your kindness mirrors what others deny. Carl Jung once said something that shocked the entire world of psychology. He who does not confront his shadow will be ruled by it for the rest of his life, and call it fate. And if you've ever been hated just for being kind, you might have unknowingly touched that shadow in someone else. You did nothing wrong. You were simply living by your values. You were kind, attentive, patient, understanding. Things that seem harmless. But those very things made them feel wounded. Not because you hurt them, but because you revealed a part of them they didn't want to see. Shadow, as Jung defines it, is the place where we hide what we're ashamed of. It's selfishness, pettiness, jealousy, insecurity, the need for control hidden behind fear of being exposed. And when you show up real with nothing to hide, you become a mirror reflecting exactly what they're trying to reject. They can't stand your sincerity. Because your sincerity makes them feel fake. They can't handle your kindness because it reminds them of how bitter they've become, and so they react, not with gratitude but with contempt, not with understanding but with blame, criticism, and degradation. Because if they can't become you, then they must prove you're fake. They won't say, I feel insecure. They'll say you're just pretending to be good. They won't admit I'm jealous. They'll say you're too naive, too weak. That's not the truth about you. That's their unprocessed shadow, looking for somewhere to unload. And unfortunately, that place is you. But if you understand this, you'll no longer panic when you're hated. You'll start to realize every time your kindness gets attacked, it's because you're shining light into a place they don't want to see. 2. Projection in action. When kindness is misread as manipulation. She was simply a good person in a ruthless environment, a dedicated employee always helping her coworkers, picking up what others left behind, still smiling even when wrongly blamed. But then the rumor started that she was trying to win over the boss, that she was acting, manipulating, had an agenda. And the most bitter part, the very people she helped were the ones spreading it. Have you ever been in a situation like that? You helped someone with all your heart, and one day they turned on you saying you had an agenda, that your kindness had conditions, that you weren't genuinely kind, just trying to control, earn favors, or look superior. That's not the truth. That's projection, a deeply common psychological defense Carl Jung warned us about. When someone can't face their own darkness, they project it outward and pin it on others. You're not manipulating them. They simply can't believe someone can be kind without wanting something in return, because if they were the kind one, they'd want something. If they were the helper, they'd make sure everyone knew it. So when you stay quiet, ask for nothing, expect no praise, they can't process that. And they get suspicious. They don't see you. They see a distorted version of themselves, reflected through the lens of unresolved pain. And here's the dangerous part. The more you try to prove you're genuine, the more they believe you're hiding something. The more you explain, the more they label you a threat. Their unconscious defense system has locked in, and you've become a psychological danger they feel they must eliminate. Don't play that game. You have no obligation to prove your kindness. You just need to understand their betrayal. Says nothing about your truth. It only exposes the limits of their trust and the depth of their unhealed wounds. And sometimes the only way to protect your kindness is to walk away without needing to be believed. 3. The narcissist's mask. Why your authenticity exposes their persona. There's an uncomfortable truth. A narcissist doesn't hate you because you're bad. They hate you because you're real. You live in alignment with your emotions. You don't need to fake, don't need to prove yourself. You dare to say, I'm not perfect, but I'm honest. And that, to a narcissist, is unacceptable. Carl Jung called that mask the persona, the social self we create to be accepted. A narcissist doesn't just wear the mask, they become it. They build their entire identity around appearing strong, smart, moral, successful, no matter what's actually going on inside. And when you show up being real without pretending, you threaten the existence of the entire script they've been living. You are truth, and they are a performance. You are a person, and they are a character. And your authenticity is the light that begins to crack that costume wide open. They can't accept that, not because you're wrong, but because you make them feel fake. Not because you're good, but because you make their performance feel hollow. They won't consciously realize this. Instead, they'll mock you, call you unrealistic, naive, a drama queen, too sensitive, all to hide their fear of being seen. You're not the first person they've done this to, and if you keep being real, you won't be the last. But there's one difference. You're here to awaken, not to play a supporting role in someone else's game. Your authenticity is power. It needs no validation. It only needs you to hold it strong, because light never has to apologize for making others squint. 4. Helper's trap. When your goodness becomes a form of control. You're always the one who stays behind, the one replying to texts at midnight, the one listening, helping, backing down, apologizing. Even when you're not wrong, you tell yourself, because I'm a good person, but sometimes the truth is much more brutal. You're good, but you're exhausted. You're kind, but you constantly feel used. You give, but you're dismissed, forgotten, even betrayed, and you don't understand why. Carl Jung called it helper's neurosis, the syndrome of always helping as a subconscious defense. It doesn't come from love. It comes from the fear of abandonment, from the need to be accepted, from the obsession that you must be useful to be worthy of existing. You're kind, but not because others need you. You're kind because you fear that if you're not, no one will stay. And that's exactly what creates a toxic paradox. The more you try to be the good one, the less people respect you. Because they don't feel freedom in your kindness. They feel pressure, silent expectations, even a need to be grateful. Even if you don't intend to, they feel trapped. And slowly they rebel, they push back, they try to escape you, even though you're the one giving. The painful truth is, many people don't hate your kindness. They hate the feeling of debt in front of a kindness that doesn't come from freedom. You're not wrong for wanting to help. But if that help comes with unspoken expectations, you're controlling without knowing it. You're manipulating with a smile, with self-sacrifice, with the "it's okay" that hides a storm of hurt inside. That's not kindness. That's fear in disguise. And if you're brave enough to face that, you'll begin to learn how to love without losing yourself. How to help without becoming hostage to being needed. How to be kind without needing to be rescued. 5. Boundaries are the real kindness. Learning to say no without guilt. You think being kind means always saying yes, always being there when others need you, never disappointing anyone, never upsetting anyone, never making anyone uncomfortable. And then you become a shadow of yourself because you forgot one crucial thing: kindness cannot exist without boundaries. You weren't born to be an emotional trash can for others to dump into. You're not an endless resource for anyone to take from whenever they please. You have limits. You have the right to say no. And when you say no, it doesn't make you less kind. It simply proves you're growing up. Carl Jung once said, "No transformation can occur without limits." And that applies to kindness too. When you don't set boundaries, your kindness turns into enabling, into complicity, into allowing others to walk over you without remorse. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors. Doors you open when you're ready and have the right to close when you feel unsafe. And sadly, the very people who benefited most from your constant yes will be the first to get angry when you start saying no. Don't let guilt trick you. Guilt is not a sign of morality. It's a sign that you're breaking an old habit, the habit of pleasing everyone but yourself. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you clear, it makes you safe, and it makes your yes truly meaningful. Because then you're giving from freedom, not pressure. You don't need to suffer to be called good. You just need to be honest with yourself. And sometimes a clear boundary is the most loving gift you can give someone. 6. Breaking the savior complex. Stop choosing people who will resent you. You always choose the ones who need saving. The wounded, the chaotic, the broken. You believe that if you're good enough, patient enough, loving enough, they will change. And then just like all the other times they turn their backs, they betray you, they blame you, and you sit there in pain, not understanding why your kindness led to this ending. Carl Jung explained it very clearly. When you choose someone to save, you're unconsciously placing yourself above them. You don't see them as a whole person, but as a project to be fixed. You give not from pure love, but from a deep need to feel useful, to see yourself as someone capable of healing. That's the savior complex, a sweet trap with a dangerous cost. Because when you enter a relationship thinking, I will make them better, you're silently creating an imbalance. And no one wants to stay forever in the weaker role as someone who owes you. The person you're trying to save will start feeling controlled, judged, belittled. They will push back, not because you did something wrong, but because you made them feel small, and they will do whatever it takes to reclaim their power, even if it means destroying your good image. You weren't born to be a therapist for people who don't want to heal. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to feel worthy, and you have no obligation to save anyone, especially when it's destroying you. Kindness is not rescue. Kindness is the ability to see others as equal souls, not higher, not lower, not needing to change to be worthy. You can love without fixing, you can help without saving, and you can choose to no longer play the savior, but to be your full, free, powerful self. 7. From projection to power. How to respond without losing yourself. They say you're a hypocrite. They say you're manipulating. They weave stories about your real agenda behind your kindness. And then you begin to doubt yourself. You wonder, am I too sensitive? Did I do something wrong? And in a few words, they make you forget who you are. That is the power of projection. When someone dumps their shadow onto you, and if you're not alert, you begin carrying wounds that aren't yours. Carl Jung once said, we do not see others as they are. We see them as we are. And when someone attacks you irrationally, you must understand they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to the part of themselves they reject. So what should you do when you're projected upon? Don't defend. Don't explain. Don't try to prove anything. Because the more you react, the deeper you fall into their trap. They don't need truth. They need to control your emotions. And when you lose calm, they win. True power is when you can stand still in the storm, look directly at the distortion, and refuse to be shaken. Ask yourself, am I living aligned with my values? If no one believes me, do I still hold kindness? If they don't acknowledge it, do I still dare to be myself? That's when you reclaim control, not by shouting, I'm innocent, but by remaining firm without needing to justify. You don't need to be understood to be yourself. You just need to stop sacrificing your truth for other people's comfort. And once you do that, you don't just escape projection. You step into true power. 8. Conscious compassion. Kindness with fire. Not fear. Being kind doesn't mean you must stay silent. Compassion doesn't mean you must endure. And love should never be a reason to deny yourself. Many people mistake kindness for softness. Conflict avoidance, always being gentle, always accepting, always saying it's fine. But that kind of kindness only makes you shrink. And eventually you'll explode because you've held up the good person image for too long. Carl Jung called that unconscious kindness, a kind of avoidance disguised as love. But real kindness doesn't stem from fear. It doesn't fear being hated, misunderstood, or causing discomfort. Real kindness is born from a different place, from a deep connection to your core values. Emotionally mature people aren't kind to be liked. They're kind because it's the right thing to do, even when unreciprocated. They can say no without apologizing. They can walk away without orchestrating a perfect exit. They can love without trying to save. That is conscious compassion. Compassion with awareness, with limits, with fire, with depth. It doesn't compromise with toxicity. It doesn't fear loneliness to preserve a wrong relationship. It doesn't endure to be called good. And when you learn how to love without losing yourself, you start turning kindness into power. No longer endurance, no longer a need for approval, but a conscious choice made by someone who knows who they are and what they deserve. Kindness isn't weakness. Kindness is when you have the power to hurt, but don't. Because you understand your value isn't in being loved, but in no longer having to pretend to be someone. 9. The mirror effect. When being kind shows you who's truly safe. Something surprising happens when you begin living your kindness authentically. No more pretending, no more performing to be loved, no more acting to please others. You see clearly who is truly safe with you, and who only accepts you when you're weak, obedient, compliant, easily controlled. Your kindness, when shown genuinely with boundaries with awareness, acts like a mirror. It reflects not only the light within you, but also exposes the darkness in others. Those who've confronted their own shadow will look at you with appreciation. They see courage, self-mastery, inner beauty in you because they've walked that path too. But those not ready to face themselves feel threatened. They'll resist. They'll try to distort you to preserve the story they tell themselves about this world, that kind equals weak, that giving equals having an agenda, that no one is truly good. You can't change how others see you, but you can change how you respond. Instead of doubting yourself, begin observing. Who respects your boundaries? Who isn't angry when you say no? Who doesn't need you to be weak to feel powerful? Who doesn't run away when you start being real? The answer becomes clear. Your kindness becomes a filter. It filters out people who come only out of need and keeps those who come out of truth. You don't need to intellectually filter people. Just live true, live, strong kindness without apology, without pretense. That mirror will automatically reflect everything, and you will know who is truly worthy to walk beside you. You're not wrong for being kind. You're not weak for getting hurt. You're simply learning to do what's right in a stronger, more conscious way. And if today you realize something about yourself, that you no longer want to be good just to be loved, that you want to live kindly without losing yourself, then your true healing journey has begun. I want to hear your story. Have you ever been hurt because of your kindness? Have you ever set boundaries and been called selfish? Share in the comments, because you might just inspire someone who needs it. And if you find value in what you've just heard, hit subscribe, not for algorithms, but because you deserve to join a community learning to live real life deep and live stronger every day. We'll continue this journey together.